my 1986 Porsche 928. I've had it almost 15 years now, which is crazy. And I paid $6,000 for this car back in 2009-ish. Bought it in New York, had it shipped to Colorado, and it's been absolutely fantastic, fun, amazing car. It is not perfect. It is dirty, as you can see, but I still wanted to make a video of it. It's been in my office garage over here for a little while, and we're getting it out today to drive it. 5-liter V8 engine. It's been incredibly reliable. It's probably got 140,000 miles on it. The odometer stopped working a little bit ago. 5-speed, of course. It's fast. We've got just an off-road pipe, a chip in it, and that's made a huge difference in the power. And it's a fun car. So we'll drive around, talk about it a little bit, and then have a lot more videos of my other cars as well. My Countach is hiding over there. You can see the Super right here. I've got another Super at my house at home, Diablo, Aston Martin, and some other fun stuff as well. All right, we're going to the laundromat. That's what my bucket and change counter and stuff is here for. Laundromats are not how I made my money. They're kind of a fun hobby for right now. Maybe they'll turn into something more soon. We'll see. Real estate is definitely how I was able to afford a lot of these fun cars. And this car shows 130,000 miles on it. But like I said, I think it's quite a bit more than that because this odometer hasn't worked for years. It's a little shaky. I think that's the clutch. Especially when I drive it after a while. It really shakes and lugs off the start, but if I give it enough gas, it doesn't do that. And I've asked a couple people about that, like, oh, it's just old, but I know there's got to be something else you can do to make that work a little better. Like I said, I bought this almost 15 years ago. It had, 116,000 miles on it when I bought it. I've got some videos from back then. Such a fun car though, and I always wanted one of these cars. I love the exterior styling. They're so unique with their pop-up headlights. The rear end looks amazing. Different than any other car. And you see them driving down the road, and even now, it's very rare I ever see one. But if I see one, half a mile away, maybe a quarter mile away, I'm like, what is that? Like, you know it's something unique coming at you, just the way they look. And it is backed up pretty good with a 5-liter aluminum V8. I think stock, it was like 285 horsepower, maybe 288. But their programming and exhaust were a massive, not roadblock, but, deterrence to power. And I put a pork and chip in, off-road pipe. Do I have cats on it? I don't know. The government's listening. It's definitely got cats on it. That made a massive difference. When I first drove this car, you get to kind of, it's real smooth, and then like between 3,000 and 4,000 RPMs, it's almost like a lull. Like it lost some power. It was weird. The chip, the exhaust fixed that. Now smooth power, very responsive. Gas pedal. My words are gone today, sorry. And those two things made the car so much better, so much better. So if you drive a stock 928 and it feels weird, it's got that weird lull, realize you can fix those. Especially the pre-1987 ones. The pork and chip makes a huge difference. So once I did that, this car is just amazing. Sounds so much better too. It still sounds good stock, but with a little bit of exhaust work, it sounds like an amazing V8. And it gets up and goes too. So I've never had this dyno tested or anything, but from what I've read, seeing other people testing it, people get over 300 rear wheel horsepower from those two mods, the X-Pipe and the chip. So, and a lot of those times, those mods, like, it's 25 horsepower for a Canon air filter or something. No, people, what are we doing? This is why you don't horsepower, and you can't feel it, right? It's like, did it really add anything? This was immediate. No doubt about it. Massive increase in horsepower with those two modifications. Huge difference. When it was stock, it wasn't easy to lose traction, go around corners, full acceleration, off the line. Now it's just like you give it too much gas going around a corner, it'll slide out. Off the line, the same thing. Really fun. And I put bigger wheels on it as well, and tires. So even with the increased meat on back, I think I went from 225 wide to 285 wide. Still could lose traction, and so lots of power, lots of torque, and very responsive throttle. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Those were the words that were escaping me. So love this car, highly recommended. If anybody's thinking about them, they kind of get a bad rap sometimes. A lot of 911 Porsche guys don't like them because this car was supposed to replace the 911. This was the most expensive Porsche when it was being made. More expensive than the 911 Turbo, the 930s, and it was supposed to be the replacement for 911, but just never caught on. The 911 enthusiasts would not let that happen. The 911's an amazing car too, so it would have been really weird if the 911 disappeared. Oh, my blinker's been on this whole time. That's the problem with doing videos and tracking. But yeah, I'm glad they both coexisted for such a long time. The 928 was built until 1995. So a lot of people don't realize it was from 1977, I think, or 78 to 1995 the 928 was built. So it was around for a very long time. And it's got a great transmission too. It's never given me any problems. I've never done the clutch or anything on this car the whole time I've had it. Never needed any engine work. Obviously done oil changes and fluid changes and stuff like that. I don't think we've done any brake work. I replaced the shocks with Bilsteins a long time ago. The biggest issue it's had is the wiring harness fried, but that was my fault. That wasn't the car's fault. That was me who, when I put my off-road pipe on and I was reattaching the O2 sensors, I twisted the wires too much and they shorted out, fried the wiring harness. So I can't blame Porsche for that. That was a couple $1,000 mistake there, and that was a while ago. I'm sure it's a much more expensive mistake now. So really reliable. People talk about the electrical gremlins. Did I say electronical? That's a pretty cool word. Anyway, again, kind of a bad rap with the electrical side of things. A lot of them do have electric problems, but it's almost always just dirty grounds. That's all it is. You clean the grounds, you figure out where they are. It fixes almost all of them. I've never really had any electrical problems with this car at all, but all the grounds were done. The person who owned this before me was a 928 enthusiast. He did all the stuff he was supposed to do, was on all the forums, and took really good care of the car, and that shows, and that makes a big difference, in the type of car you get. Not everybody knows how to work on these, but it's not rocket science either. So I have one guy who's owned 928s who works on them. I've also taken him to my local kind of import shop, and just a regular car repair shop that does imports. They've worked on it. They replaced my wiring harness for me. Not too big of a deal. There's also a guy who was down in Denver. I'm in Greeley, kind of far away, who used to live here, who was all he did is work on 928s. A very smart guy, and he was awesome, amazing to do everything, but he moved away, Stan, and but you don't have to have a specialist like that to work on these cars. A lot of shops can work on them as they are. So I love this car, been a ton of fun. It's not perfect. The windshields are really expensive, so I never fixed that. And is in Scarface, Risky Business, Weird Science, seeing those movies, seeing the car as a kid, I just always loved this car. Always wanted the one. And this was kind of my first extra car purchase I made in my life, where I had a daily driver and I bought this as kind of a fun car. So it's been great owning it. Hasn't needed hardly any mechanical work, any repairs. Styling's awesome, sound is awesome. people love the car too when they see it driving. They always want to come talk to me about it, even though it's not a super expensive exotic. People love seeing it too. Highly recommend the 5-speed. You're going to get a one of these. Makes a huge difference over the automatic. There's that kind of shakiness, but then I take it out of gear and it stops. So something's going on there. But yeah, that's all I've got for this. Of course, we'll have more videos of my cars and different stuff going on. If you have questions, let me know. Just so you know, I sacrificed by having the windows up this whole time and my AC doesn't work very well. That is one thing that does not work very well, but most 80s cars are also like that. So now I'm rolling down the window so I can get some fresh air. All right, take care. We'll be back with more car content.